From the shattered remnants of despair and the forsaken rubble, raceth the Golden Bough, a sanctuary for weary souls, burdened by their ceaseless quests and in dire pursuit of solace. Eden, the guardian of this venerable refuge, harbors visions that transcend the modest facade, greeting the fatigued traveler. Within the sanctified heart of this revered haven, Eden envisions a profound metamorphosis, from a mere bastion of healing to an adventurer's guild, a crucible destined for the valiant who dare tread the perilous expanses of the master plane. Yet this lofty ambition is bound and fettered by the cold chains of necessity, funding. With a heart too noble to impose tolls upon those marred by conflict's cruel hand, Eden forges a path alternative to gather the required riches for her dream. She elects herself as the silent arbiter of commerce within the tower settlement, a matchmaker of fate, pairing rogues in dire need with those bearing bounty, claiming but a modest tithe for her endeavors. She firmly believes these dealings shall lay the cornerstone of prosperity, propelling the Golden Bough to its fated magnificence, a nexus for rogues of both need and ability. Should the gains from these ventures fall short, Eden contemplates the establishment of a tavern within the stout walls of the Golden Bough, not merely as a wellspring of sustenance and merriment for the Wayfarers, but also as the unveil upon which alliances are forged and sagas born. This vision demands true laborers, a barkeep and staff adept at managing the flux of ale and spirits, skilled in navigating the throng of tables. Yet were it not for the raucous antics of a small cadre of rogues, likely vying for favor from Ali's warband, Eden herself would assume the mantle of hostess, bathing in the tavern's glowing warmth. A valorous barkeep indeed could prove invaluable. Above, within the split-level floors of this establishment, coexist an infirmary, a library, lodgings, and Eden's personal sanctum, a sanctuary within a sanctuary, where the essence of the Golden Bough, aid, knowledge, rest, and governance meld seamlessly. Eden's vigilant eyes sweep from wall to wall, ever watchful. Eden envisions not a citadel of splendor, but a beacon of understated elegance at the Golden Bough, where luxury bows to utility and genuine warmth. In her sage wisdom, she regards excess not as an aim, but folly. For the true treasure of the Golden Bough lies not in gilded walls, but in the strength and spirit it nurtures within its domain. As the proprietor and de facto guildmaster, Eden stands as a steadfast sentinel of neutrality, her gaze not on the thrones of power, but on the visages of those seeking refuge and purpose under her guardianship. Unmoved by conventional leadership, yet responsive to the soft whispers of destiny, she is attuned to the gentle persuasions of those touched by her sanctuary. With her vision sharpened and resolve steeled, Eden drafts 3 contracts that encapsulate her entrepreneurial spirit, summoning the aid of itinerant rogues. Thus, she fans the flames of the Golden Bough's enduring legacy, a beacon for the bold and the brave. Within the venerable walls of the Golden Bough, a trio of contracts of grave import were heralded, summoning the valiant and resourceful from near and far. The first, known as Resource and Artifact Trade, called forth those who roam the vast realms, bidding them present their treasures of both mundane and mystical natures. Eden, the sovereign of these exchanges, vowed just trades that would enrich not only the bearer, but also swell the coffers of the tavern, nurturing its flourishing upstart. Eden's trio of contacts in need sought natural resources, artifacts, and even the remnants of formidable manifestations, all in exchange. for a small handful of gold and ore treasures of equal worth. The second missive, barkeeping the Golden Bough, sought a steadfast soul to steward the tavern's bar on its eagerly awaited opening night and beyond. Though the remuneration was modest, it promised a role rife with lively interaction and the governance of the tavern's bustling hall, where diplomacy and fortitude must reign to quell the frequent tumults among the throngs. The third proclamation, the heart of Tower settlement, was a clarion call of noble intent, seeking substantial contributions of gold to amplify the settlement's fortunes. Those who heeded this call would see their names eternally interwoven into the fabric of the settlements and the Golden Bough's burgeoning legacies, their deeds immortalized. As rogues and wanderers congregated, their spirits lifted by the promise of riches and transformative deeds within the embrace of the tavern, the air teemed with whispers of hope and the palpable buzz of opportunity. The Golden Bough, poised with regal dignity, stood ready to etch its indelible legacy into the annals of the Tower settlement. Suddenly, a sharp, scornful cry rent the burgeoning excitement. Asunder, a rogue bellowed that the masters of the House of Tiny Lies had broken their seclusion, flinging wide their gates and proffering even richer pursuits. All eyes and whispers pivoted toward the gates of this enigmatic stronghold across the settlement, as murmurs spread like wildfire. Guarded staunchly by a formidable cadre of armored rogues, the House of Tiny Lies stood as a bulwark amidst the settlement's chaos, having endured the relentless assaults of the Fallen Tree's mercenaries. Now, as the Tower settlement found itself sundered from the wider world, the denizens of this affluent bastion were stirred to action. Known for their vast wealth and the symbiotic bonds with potent rogues, they now faced not only the global catastrophe that had stripped them of their most reliable clientele, but also the burgeoning competitive force of the Golden Bough. With a blend of eagerness and caution, they set forth to enlist the most adept rogues to fulfill their lucrative contracts, determined to uphold their supremacy in the beleaguered settlement. A low, sonorous creak reverberated through the air, a herald of momentous events as it echoed across the settlement. The grand front door of the house groaned on its hinges, swinging open wider under the force of a guardsman whose stature seemed minuscule compared to the figure that loomed behind him. This emerging presence, though but a fraction of the size, commanded an aura of ineffable power and mystery. The very air seemed to still thick with anticipation as the smaller figure stepped forth from the shadowed threshold into the stark light of day, each movement resonating with silent authority. In the shimmering light of the white sun, there stood a figure shrouded in garments that sang of affluence, silks and velvets that danced in harmonious folds about his frame. This was he, the Disagreeable Master, a moniker that masked the quiet dominion he held with ease, a dominion unseen yet unfailingly present. Though his countenance bore the delicacy of the refined, his presence cast a shadow vast as the buildings themselves. The Disagreeable Master paced with a meticulousness that bespoke caution, weaving betwixt the towering forms of his armored guardians. His eyes, sharp as the edge of a blade, darted from one face to another among the scattered rogues. Each step he took was a calculated whisper on the plainy, each glance not born of empathy for the stricken settlement, but as a reckoning, a tallying of souls who might yet serve as clients in the remaining underbelly of commerce. As he surveyed the aftermath of calamity, his mind, a fortress of schemes and calculations, remained untouched by the ruin. 'Twas not the sorrow of loss that moved him, but the cold arithmetic of opportunity. The count of those who remained, not as survivors, but as mere figures in the guild's grand ledger. Beside the disagreeable master, there trod a creature of no lesser majesty, a large, armored reptilian manifestation whose scales gleamed as though forged in the fires of a blacksmith's fervor. Its eyes, deep and ancient, bore the sagacity of one versed in the art of precarious negotiations. With a grace that belied its fearsome form, it addressed its master in tones both smooth and seasoned. "Shall we proceed, master? The dawn grows bold." With a subtle nod, the disagreeable master acknowledged the creature's query and advanced. His step was devoid of sound, yet it echoed through the square, seizing the attention of all like a clarion call unspoken. The amassed crowd of onlookers, drawn by curiosity and fear, succumbed to a reverent silence. As he halted, his gaze sweeping over the gathered faces with a cool, calculated air, then signals to his private guard to present 3 brilliant contracts to the people. The guard unrolled a heavy parchment, its edges worn from the secrets it bore. The rogues gathered, their eyes gleaming with a mix of curiosity and avarice, for the quest he presented was no mundane task. It was a venture into the shadowy heart of legend. The corpse quarry. "Attend, brave souls!" The guard bellowed, his voice resonating against the stone walls. Before the sundering of the master plane, there lay a location fraught with peril and dark allure, known to those who dared its depths as the corpse quarry. His finger traced the map laid out on the parchment, pointing to a spot marked by the scroll of ancient runes, past craggy rocks and into a deep gorge. A sloping furrow over a mile in width that led down into a dimly lit canyon. Here lay the remains of a gargantuan manifestation, its origins shrouded in the mists of time. The beast, chitinous, worm-like, and serrated, lies as a testament to its former might. The god continued, his tone imbued with a mix of reverence and dread. Early rogues who plumbed its depths tell tales of a carcass whose mass extends far below the earth's crust, its flesh, though rotting, concealing treasures unimaginable. Bones thick as barns, scales fit for the mightiest shields, and bloodstones aglow with eldritch light. The people grew tense as he detailed the dangers. The corpse quarry is not merely a trove of riches, but a bastion of peril. Scavengers spawned from nightmare realms now claim it as their dominion, and the decay of the behemoth beckons the stout of heart and strong of stomach. The quest, as he outlined, was twofold. Brave rogues were to venture forth to ascertain whether the corpse quarry still marred the landscape of the master plane. Should it exist, your blades must clear the path of all threats. Should it be gone, this news too carries its incredible weight in gold. The reward, he proclaimed, was a bounty so vast that it could sway the fortunes of those daring enough to accept the contract. "Who among you," he challenged, his gaze sweeping over the crowd, "will dare investigate the continued existence of this terrible place?" The air thickened with anticipation, the promise of gold and glory igniting a fire in the hearts of the gathered rogues. Murmurs of assent and the clanking of armor filled the air as the guard rolled up the parchment. The quest set, the challenge laid bare. The guard unrolls another heavy parchment, its edges tinged with the smoke of countless candles. His voice, deep and resonant, broke the stillness, carrying with it the weight of a grim request. The investigation of the Wailing Forest. "Brave souls, hear the call," he intoned, his eyes sweeping across the assembly of rogues, their faces lit by the flickering torchlight. With the discovery of the verdant Easts, questions stir in the shadows. Have all cursed realms been reborn as paradises? This contract demands your courage to unearth the truth about the Wailing Forest. He traced a gnarled finger over the map, stopping at a place marked with ominous symbols. Nearly 2 centuries past, the tower settlement was scourged by a vile plague, the dead amassing faster than the earth could receive them. The overflow of bodies found, their resting place in the nearby forest. Altering it most fully, a skittish rogue interrupts and begins sharing his traumatic recount of his experience in the vile biome.
A miasma from the unburied dead wrought a sinister transformation, and dark creatures and otherworldly entities descended upon the woods, drawn by the unclaimed souls ripe for nefarious traits. Over time, fear of these terrors soaked into the very soil, birthing springs that bubbled black with death and dread.
He detailed the horrors that lurked within. The rogue begins to hyperventilate and passes out. The guard continues. Inhabitants of the forest acquired a ghastly craving for human flesh, feasting with abandon. Beneath the crust, slithering beasts lay in wait for unwary travelers, while avian predators turned into cabalistic carrion eaters, their beaks sharp and unyielding. The canopy above grew dense, cloaking the sun and smothering any flame that dared to challenge the pervasive darkness. A chill ran through the crowd as he spoke of the manifestations mimicking the gnarled trees, their twig-like limbs freezing when watched. And beware the purple smoke, he warned, his voice a whisper of dread. For it harbors invisible insects whose touch corrupts genetics, marring legacies with toxic birth defects. As the rogues absorbed the haunting details, the guard's tone shifted towards the mission at hand. This contract calls for the brave, or the foolhardy, to venture into this accursed wood. Verify if this blight upon the land still festers, and if so, bring fire and fury to cleanse it from existence. The contract was clear: to dare the Wailing Forest, to witness if it still stood as a monument to horrors past, and to burn away its curse, rendering safe the paths of the Master Plane once more. The reward, yet another incredible bounty of gold. The Disagreeable Master then retrieves a third contract that he unfurls and begins to read aloud himself, his tone dripping with veiled threats and dark promise. Hearken, ye cunning and covert, for an opportunity like no other beckons. This contract, crafted by the subtle hands of the House of Tiny Lies, calls for a message to be sent to the Golden Bough. A message in the form of an act that forces the Golden Bough to cease to grow and prosper. He paused, a slight smirk playing upon his lips. A sense of unease settled over the crowd, the air thick with the gravity and audacity of his words. Success in this endeavor will not only yield a bountiful trove of gold, but also grant thee membership to the House of Tiny Lies. His voice lowered, conspiratorial. This includes private residency within its fortified walls, and access to all the opulent luxuries that such a position entails. The rogues exchange glances, each wrestling with the morality and the temptation of the task. Some faces showed intrigue, others apprehension, as the offer sank into their hearts, like a stone into deep waters. Rolling up the contract, the Disagreeable Master sealed it anew with a flick of his fingers, the wax cooling into the symbol of the house, a reminder of the pact that was offered. With a nod, he retreated back into the shadows from whence he came, leaving behind a charged silence, the echo of his words resonating with a sinister allure, pulling at the darker corners of their souls.
In this chapter of Masterplane, players will continue to pursue their personal goals and interests, as well as have the freedom to explore the Masterplane's new locations, such as the Verdant Easts and the Silent Gates, or build upon existing locations. When submitting actions, the player will simply provide their primary goal, then provide details on how they plan to accomplish them. I'm also adding 2 new fields. One for spoken quotes, where players can now write some lines of dialogue that they want to hear their character say, and another field to add any additional info you want me to know. Please remember, though, only 1 dedicated and active user per character. Exploring the master plane. Now that the show is really starting to progress, rogues are now starting to explore. New locations are discovered by choosing to traverse beyond existing locations in the direction of north, east, south, or west into a vacant spot on the Master Plane's overworld map that can be found on our website and/or Discord. Players will simply state their intent to explore deeper into the Master Plane, along with what they hope to find, or whatever their current objective or goal is. This in turn will trigger the discovery of a new location, and with it, a random event that the player may or may not overcome. Random events. For each rogue or rogue party's submission, a random event will be triggered that will tie into your current plot. So if, for example, your goal is to explore the Verdant Easts in search of valuable resources, and Mythic decides that your randomly rolled event involves you also being attacked by a horde of enemies, your objective then evolves into finding resources and making it out alive. Whether you are exploring a new location or an existing one, a random event will always be rolled. That way, the world is being built and expanded no matter where you go. The Golden Bough versus the House of Tiny Lies. This turn phase marks the beginning of the Golden Bough's emergence, and with it, opportunities for world and character building in the form of contracts. Contracts are randomly rolled quests that will be posted on the job board in the Golden Bough. Contracts are the wants and needs of NPC rogues and offer opportunities to expand the world and develop your rogue. The Golden Bough is a glimmer of light in the darkness of the Master Plane, offering opportunities and purpose to rogues. And Eden has gathered 3 contracts players can choose to pursue. The first contract, Resource and Artifact Trade, sees that several rogues have expressed a need and are relying on Eden to find rogues who can assist. Rogues who are already in possession of, or eventually acquire, the requested objects of value can bring them to the Golden Bough to trade and also earn some coin. For a limited time, there is a bounty out for the following: valuable natural resources, artifacts, and lastly, the corpses of formidable manifestations. With only the promise of some gold, the true reward will be in what you receive from the trade, which will be randomly rolled, and its value dependent on what you traded in. So in your future endeavors, keep this particular contract in mind. In the second contract, Barkeeping the Golden Bough, Eden needs staff for the tavern starting on an important opening night, a task that will require tact in all areas of expertise. There's also a possibility of an altercation, as mentioned, due to some local riffraff trying to get recruited by Eli's warband. A rogue's performance during the opening night will help Eden decide on who would earn a full-time position, if that is something someone wants. This event should make for some wild social scenes. And then lastly, Eden's third contract, the heart of the tower settlement is a simple call for a substantial amount of donations and gold. For any rogues who stumble upon wealth and gold may consider donating. The amount of gold a player has at any given time will be determined using yes and no fate questions. If one can justify why they have a certain amount of gold at the time that they need it, rank shifts will be applied to the roll result. The largest contributors to the Golden Bough will be interwoven into the legacy and successful upbringing of the tower settlement from a narrative standpoint, as this donation will supercharge the Golden Bough's influence and impact on the settlement's economy, which is exactly why conflict will begin to brew, because the House of Tiny Lies enter stage left, a remnant of the past that prospered greatly in the master plane before this planar shift. With power and influence being shared by the Golden Bough now, the House of Tiny Lions is looking to hold onto their crown and bury the Golden Bough by any means necessary, and they too have set forth their own contracts, except these contracts reflect a different time and place prior to this change in the world, as not only do they offer a larger gold reward, a commodity with questionable value at this juncture in time, but also these contracts involve locations that may or may not even exist anymore. Contracts 1 and 2 call for rogues to investigate very dangerous locations for an incredible gold reward. The Wailing Forest and the Corpse Quarry may or may not exist, and if they do, there's an expectation to clear it of its threats and or burn it down. But the madness doesn't stop there. The house is also calling for complete sabotage of the Golden Bough in the form of a quote-unquote message that they want to be sent. Read between the lines. However rogues interpret that is up to them, but are being promised guild membership and with that residency in the house itself. So this should be interesting. Turn 3 of Master Plane will make for an interesting phase of events, and I look forward to seeing what everyone accomplishes. Let us continue.